Hello students, how are you all? A very warm welcome to grade 8th science. So today we are going to start with the lesson food and digestion, and the topic which we are going to study under this lesson is digestion and absorption and the human digestive system. Look at the learning objective for today: to be able to understand digestion and absorption. The keywords which we will be using in this lesson are large molecules, small molecules, soluble, insoluble, glucose, amino acids, glycerols, fatty acids, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So, we will see in this lesson how does the food we eat finally turns into waste. What all happens with the food, and finally it is thrown out of the body in the form of a waste in the restrooms. So we will see that what all processes does the food undergo till it reaches out of the body in the form of waste. The very first process for the food is ingestion. Ingestion is the technique of taking in food into the mouth. It can be done with the help of hands, with the help of forks and the spoons also. After the ingestion, the next process happening with the food is the digestion. What is the meaning of digestion? Breaking down of the complex food into smaller, soluble food substances. After digestion, the food is absorbed because our body needs energy, building materials, and minerals and vitamins to stay healthy. So these all need to be digested first, and then it has to be absorbed into our body so that we can use it for further. Once these digested food is absorbed, it is assimilated. Assimilated means it is being used up by the body. Whatever food we take, it has to be used up also. If it is not used up, that will become toxic. The last process, the last step of the complete digestion is the egestion process. Egestion process means removal of the unwanted, undigested waste material out of the body. So, first of all, I would like to tell you what is the word digestion means. The word itself is a small word, digestion, but if you look into the details of it, it's a huge, lengthy process. Digestion means turning the insoluble large food into soluble form. If you take a piece of chicken and try to dissolve it in a glass of water, it cannot be possible. But in digestion, this is possible. After the chicken gets digested, it can be dissolved in water. If you take a piece of bread, try to dissolve in water, it's not possible. But after digestion, the bread can dissolve in water. This is digestion. Digestion, again, I'll tell you, digestion changes the insoluble food to soluble form. In the same way, if you try to dissolve a lump of butter in water, you cannot dissolve it in water. But after digestion, this butter can dissolve in water. So the very first important nutrient for our body is carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is required by your body for the production of energy. If you look at the large structure of this carbohydrate, this whole thing is the carbohydrate. And this is the one which is not soluble in water. We have to convert this into smaller molecule or the smaller part, and then it is going to be soluble in water. What happens inside our body? What happens after the digestion to this carbohydrate? The carbohydrate, the large insoluble carbohydrate molecule, due to the action of this enzyme called as amylase. Another name of amylase is carbohydrase. This enzyme acts on this carbohydrate molecule and converts, or you can say that it breaks up this carbohydrate molecule into smaller units, which is called as the sugar. And sugar, as you know, you can see it in your kitchen also, sugar is soluble in water. The same thing happens in our body. Amylase acts on the carbohydrate and breaks the carbohydrate into simple sugar. This is how carbohydrate is digested inside our body. So the next important nutrient required by our body is the protein. So protein is a group of, or the long chain of amino acids you can see here, which I am going to circle here. This is protein molecule. If you try to dissolve the protein in water, it is not possible. So it has to be converted into water soluble form, and that is possible by an enzyme called as protease, which is secreted by our stomach. Protease converts the protein into amino acids. You can see these amino acids, orange color amino acid here, the red color here, the blue color here, the yellow color here, the green color here, and the purple color. These are the different types of amino acids which are going to be soluble in water, and they can be easily absorbed in our body. The next important nutrient for our body is fats. Fat is a combination of two molecules, which is called as the fatty acids, and the green part you can see here, the glycerols. Okay, so again, if you try to dissolve butter in water, it is not possible. So it has to be converted into soluble form, and that is possible with the help of an enzyme called as lipase. So when lipase acts on fats, the fat breaks into two parts, which is called as the fatty acids and the glycerol molecule. These two acids, fatty acids and the glycerol, both of them, they are water soluble, and then they are easily absorbed in our body. So you can see here how the large or the big fat molecules, they are easily broken up into small soluble form, fatty acids and glycerol. So here also you can see the steps of digestion in human beings. The very first step is the ingestion process. Ingestion in animals is a little bit different from human beings. Human beings ingest with the help of hands, fingers, whereas animals, they directly take the food with the help of their mouth. After the ingestion, the food goes for digestion. After the digestion, it happens the absorptions, and then the last one is the egestion, the removal of the waste from the body. So let's quickly watch this video to recap what we have learned and how
molecules
food
make you
is
think of chemistry,
digested.
right? Well,
From
they're
insoluble
also
large
very important in biology.
molecule, soluble
In this video,
small
we're going to look at
molecule.
carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. When I say lipids, I'm talking about fats and oils. Life processes depend on biological molecules, whose structure is related to their function. Did you know that living organisms are actually made from quite a small group of molecules? What do you think the most common molecule in you is? It's actually water. About 55 to 60% of an adult human's body weight comes from water. And in some organisms, this can be up to 90%. Your muscles and kidneys are particularly watery, at about 79%, but even your bones are made up of 31% water. Bet you didn't expect that. Okay, enough of water for now. Imagine we removed all the water in your body. What would be left? Well, it would pretty much be just proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids such as DNA. So what are these all made of? Well, carbohydrates and lipids are really simple. They just contain three elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Proteins are a little more complex, with 4 or 5 elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sometimes sulfur. Let's start by looking at carbohydrates. There are 3 main types of carbohydrate: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Simple sugars like glucose and fructose are monosaccharides. Sucrose, which is made up of 2 simple sugars joined together, is a disaccharide. And some carbohydrates are polymers, that are made up of lots of sugars joined together, and so are called polysaccharides. Starch, glycogen, and cellulose are three important polysaccharides. Cellulose is found in plant walls, and starch is the storage unit for surplus glucose made in photosynthesis. Glycogen is the storage unit used by animals for surplus glucose, and is found in the liver and muscle tissues. Starch is tested for using an iodine solution. If the solution turns blue-black, then starch is present. Now on to proteins. Proteins are also polymers, but whereas in carbohydrates the monomer or repeating unit was glucose, for proteins it's amino acids. The protein then folds up into a complex 3D shape, which is held together by weak bonds. The function of each protein depends on its shape. Because enzymes are proteins and the bonds holding proteins together are weak, this is why enzymes denature above certain temperatures. The bonds are broken and the structure of the protein is changed. There are 20 different amino acids that make up proteins. The order of amino acids varies in different proteins, and so 20 different amino acids means an almost infinite number of different proteins can be made. It is estimated that there are about 50,000 different proteins in the human body alone. You will come across proteins nearly everywhere. For example, in cell membranes, where they control the movement of substances during active transport, as enzymes, so in photosynthesis, respiration, DNA copying, and digestion, as hormones, such as insulin, estrogen, and testosterone, and as antibodies for fighting infection. So that's proteins and carbohydrates. Let's end with lipids. Many lipids are triglycerides. These have a single glycerol molecule with 3 fatty acid tails attached. Different lipids contain different fatty acids. Triglycerides are a form of dietary fat found in meats, dairy, and cooking oils. The liver also makes triglycerides. They are used by cells and tissue for energy, or otherwise stored as fat. Some examples of lipids are steroid hormones, cholesterol, vitamin A, and vitamin D. So there you have it, the 3 key biological molecules that are essential to living processes: carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions. Why not check out our FuseSchool app as well? Until next time.
So, firstly, the food is ingested through the mouth, and from the mouth it goes to the esophagus. Then it reaches to the stomach where the digestion is happening over here. After that, it reaches to the small intestine. This is the small intestine part, this highly coiled yellow part. There a maximum of absorption process is happening. Lately, it reaches to the large intestines, the gray color part. And finally, it is thrown out of the body. This is called as the egestion part.